allowed to say bitches?
Are we allowed to say bitches?
We don't actually know.
Politics for Bitches! So, it's a stand-up show, and it's called Politics for Bitches.
Now, this is your show, so I want you lot to shout out and get involved, because I don't know anything about politics. I never really cared, and I only started caring this year because something horrific happened to my mum.
The idea came from that I hate politics. I find it so boring, it's so inaccessible, genuinely could not care less for it. And then so many things started happening last year. You know, like Trump got elected and the Brexit things, and I just realised, I was like, I've got no idea what any of this means. And like, I feel like you need a dictionary or a thesaurus to watch a programme like Question Time, or to watch a YouTube video even on, you're like, what's a referendum mean? And then sadly my mum last year, she passed away from cancer.
I called 999, I called 111, I called every helpline I could think of to support my mum. And it got to the point where I went to the oncologist. He said, there's no helping your mum.
So I started talking about this on stage and being like, oh, for me, I thought politics was, oh, those guys in Westminster, that doesn't affect me. I'm just trying to figure out how to contour, live my best life, mate. And then it did affect me because my mum died, and she died horribly, and I was like, the system wasn't there to aid her or support her.
I said, please, there must be something you can do. It's 2017. Somebody cannot die like this. They said, there's nothing we can do. Your mum will go home to die. My mum paid taxes her entire life. She did not deserve the ending that she had.
It doesn't sound very funny. I mean, it wasn't for a long time. But then by using comedy and using the audiences and their experience, I've turned it into a comedy show.
So tell me about that. What have you learned?
Well, I've learned that the Tory party and the Conservative party are actually the same thing. That's one thing that I've learned. Because for a while there, I thought they were two separate guys.
Okay, all right, okay. So we're starting from quite a low, knowledge level.
This is the thing, because I think people are too scared to be called stupid. I didn't know who Margaret Thatcher was for a long time. I thought she was like a pop star in the 80s. Didn't realise. Mate, didn't realise, okay? Listen, this wasn't
like
my
Duran, Margaret Thatcher.
I didn't know. I was into Cher. I didn't know. Anyway, so in my first show, Beyonce, I did this whole skit about how I accidentally went online, I watched the Iron Lady, I thought she was a very powerful woman, and I said, I love Margaret Thatcher, online. Oh my dick. Never put that on your Facebook status. Because boy, did I get an education. And then I was in the front of like the Telegraph being like, this is the face of right-wing comedy. It was me, and I was like, I don't even know what right-wing is, mate, so...
Why do you think that politics, a lot of young people, a lot of young women aren't engaged in politics? Why don't you think they pay attention?
Because it's purposefully inaccessible.
You think it's deliberately inaccessible?
Totally.
Okay.
Because politics in itself, not deliberately in terms of, we're going to make you so complicated so you don't understand, but by so many people getting into it, they get into their own heads with it, and by getting so up themselves, they've lost track of going, actually, the more you know about it, the more it's your duty to share that information with people that don't, because politics affects everybody.
And how do we encourage more people to get into politics then? How do we encourage more people to think, yeah, I could be an MP?
I think it's empowering everyday people just to realise their importance. And rather than it being us, Westminster, and you people say, we don't worry about that. And I think that's very much almost a London-centric thing. London is its own entity, and then the rest of the UK just has to put up and shut up and deal with it, whereas London makes all the decisions, London gets everything. And actually, there's millions of other people out there that are working every day, that are working hard, that are paying their taxes, and it'd be nice to get those voices in. But it's funnier than it sounds.
The show is funny.
There are some jokes in there. Very exciting. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Luisa, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.